I've never had a client call me 6 months after buying a home and say, I wish I never bought a house. But I have heard from some people some version of, I wish someone would have told me this before we bought. And after helping hundreds of people buy homes around Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the Twin Cities, the same surprises come up over and over again. Not because buyers are careless, not because they didn't do research, but because buying a home here has layers that don't always show up in listing photos. Older homes, basements, winter, property taxes, special assessments, inspection findings, neighborhood trade-offs, and the big one, realizing that the house you can buy and the house you can comfortably own are not always the same thing. So, if you're thinking about buying your first home in Minneapolis or anywhere around the Twin Cities, these are 7 things I wish every buyer knew before they ever walked into an open house. And the first one is probably the one that causes the most stress after closing. Most buyers start with price, and that makes total sense. It's the number you see online. It's the number that you talk about with your lender. It's the number that shows up on Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, and every listing alert that hits your inbox. But the price of the house is not the same thing as the cost of owning the house. And that distinction matters a lot, because 2 homes can be listed at $350,000, but one might have higher property taxes, one might have higher insurance, one might have an older furnace, one might need a new roof sooner, one might have drafty windows, one might have a sewer line that should probably be scoped, one might have an association fee, one might just be more expensive to heat, maintain, and live in. So on paper, they look the same, online they look the same, but in real life, they are not the same at all. And that's why one of the biggest mindset shifts for first-time buyers is moving from what's the purchase price to what does this home actually cost me to own? Because your lender can tell you what you're approved for, but approval and comfort are also not the same thing. You might be approved for a certain number, but that doesn't automatically mean that that number fits your real life. Your real life has groceries, car repairs, travel, savings, maybe daycare if you've got kids or plan on having kids, student loans, emergency funds, future repairs, and the occasional Target run that somehow becomes $180 in a blink of an eye. So before you fall in love with the list price, look at the full monthly reality. We're talking taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, repair risk, and your own comfort level. Because buying a home should not make your life feel smaller. It should give you more stability, more control, and most importantly, more clarity, not more pressure. One of the best parts about buying a home in Minneapolis and St. Paul is the housing stock. There are homes here with real character. We're talking original woodwork, built-ins, front porches, hardwood floors, and classic architecture. Homes that have been standing for 80, 90, 100 plus years. And honestly, a lot of buyers fall in love with that. And I totally get it. There's a reason people are drawn to these types of homes. They feel different. They have warmth, they have history, and they have details you don't always see in newer construction. But character and condition are not the same thing. And that's where buyers can get sometimes surprised, because an older home can be a fantastic purchase. But you want to understand what you're buying. You are going to want to know about the electrical, the plumbing, the foundation, the roof, the windows, the insulation, the sewer line, the basement, the grading around the house, the history of repairs. And that's a slightly tricky one given the age of the homes, but what we're looking for is whether past updates were done well. That doesn't mean you should be afraid of older homes. I'm not saying that at all. Older does not mean bad. Newer also does not automatically mean better, but older homes need context. For example, a little unevenness in an old floor may not be a big deal, but active water intrusion in the basement might be. An older electrical panel might simply be something to understand, but unsafe wiring is different. A charming finished attic might look great, but you still want to know how it was finished, whether it was permitted, and how it performs in the summer and winter. The key is not to walk through a house looking for reasons to hate it. The key is to walk through with curiosity. What is the house telling us? What has been maintained? What has been ignored? what might need attention soon, and that's a much better way to buy, because some of the best homes in Minneapolis and St. Paul are the older homes. You just don't want to buy one with your eyes closed. A lot of first-time buyers think the inspection is where they find out whether a house is good or bad. That's not how it really works. The inspection is where you learn the house. Every house has issues, every single one. Even beautiful homes, even expensive homes, even homes that look perfect online, and even brand new homes all have issues. The goal of an inspection is not to find a flawless property. The goal is to understand what you're taking on. And this is where buyers can get overwhelmed pretty fast because inspection reports can be long, really long. You might see 40, 60, 80 pages of notes, photos, recommendations, safety items, maintenance items, and things you've never heard of before. And when you're a first-time home buyer, that can feel like, wait, is this house falling apart? Usually no. Usually you're just seeing a detailed report of a real house. So the skill is learning how to separate normal maintenance from actual risk. A loose railing is one thing, foundation movement is another. An old water heater is one thing, active water intrusion is another. A missing GFCI outlet in an old home is one thing, unsafe electrical work is another. A roof that might need replacement soon is different than a minor cosmetic issue. This is where the right guidance matters. Not because someone should tell you what to think, but because someone should help you understand what matters. A good inspection conversation should leave you calmer, not more confused. You should walk away knowing what's urgent, what's normal, what could be expensive, what's negotiable or easy to negotiate, what can wait, what would change the decision. That's the point, not perfection, clarity. Okay, let's talk winter, because a house in Minneapolis can feel very different in February than it does during a sunny showing in September. And that's just the truth. Winter changes how you experience a home. And if you are buying in Minneapolis, St. Paul, or anywhere around the Twin Cities, winter should be part of your decision-making process. Not in a scary way, in a practical way. Because winter reveals things. Drafty windows, old insulation, ice dam history, furnace performance, garage usability, snow removal, sidewalk maintenance, driveway slope, basement moisture patterns, how the house holds heat, where does the snow pile up, how easy the property is to live in when everything is frozen and dark by 5 p.m. These are real ownership things, and they matter. For example, a long driveway might not seem like a big deal in July, but after a heavy snow, it might become part of your weekly routine. A detached garage might be totally fine, but you'll want to know what it's like in winter. A charming older window might look beautiful, but if it leaks air, you may feel it in your heating bill. Again, this doesn't mean you should avoid homes with winter maintenance. This is Minnesota. Winter is part of the deal. You signed up for it living here or moving here. The goal is to understand the rhythm of the property before you buy it, because every home has a rhythm. Some homes are easier to own and some homes need more attention. Some homes are great fits for buyers who like projects. Some homes are better for buyers who want fewer surprises. The clearer you are about that up front, the better decision you'll make. A lot of buyers start by asking, what's the best neighborhood in Minneapolis? That's not really the right question, because there is no one best neighborhood. There's only the neighborhood, area, or city that best fits your budget, priorities, commute, lifestyle, and trade-offs. And that's true whether you're looking in Minneapolis, St. Paul, or the surrounding suburbs. Two homes can be 5 minutes apart and live completely different. One might give you more space, while one might give you a shorter commute. One might have easier parking, but one might need more updates, or one might have more updates. One might have outdoor space, one might be closer to places you already spend all of your time, one might have lower taxes, and one might have the style of home you like more. So instead of asking, where should I live? I'd rather help a buyer ask, what do I want my day-to-day life to feel like? Because that question alone gets you closer to the real answer. Think, how often do you commute? Where do you spend your weekends? Do you want more house or more convenience? Do you care about yard space or location? Are you trying to minimize projects? Are you comfortable with street parking? How important is proximity to work, friends, parks, restaurants, or errands? Those are practical questions, and they're also fair housing compliant questions because they keep the focus on where it belongs, on your priorities, your budget, your commute, your housing needs, and objective property facts. My job is not to tell you where you should live. My job is to help you understand the trade-offs clearly enough that you can decide for yourself. because the right location is not universal, it's personal. This is one of the biggest surprises for first-time homebuyers. The cheapest house on paper is not always the most affordable house to own, and I completely understand why buyers are drawn to the lower price. It feels safer, it feels responsible, it feels like you're giving yourself room. And sometimes it's true, but not always. Because if the lower priced home needs a roof, windows, sewer work, electrical updates, grading improvements, a furnace, and a new water heater in the next few years, that deal might start to feel very different. Meanwhile, a slightly more expensive home that has been well cared for might actually be easier to own. This is why you want to look beyond price. You want to look at total cost to own. That includes the payment, taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, the repairs you can see, the repairs you should reasonably expect, and your own comfort with projects. Some buyers are perfect for a fixer-upper. They have a budget, they have patience, they have the skills, or the people in their world with the skills. They have the timeline. They understand what they're getting into. Other buyers, though, are not in that season of life. They need something more stable, something easier, something that doesn't require every weekend, every extra dollar, and every ounce of patience. Neither buyer is wrong, but confusing those two paths can be expensive. So the question is not just, can I buy this house? The better question is, can I own this house comfortably? That one question can save you a lot of stress. First-time buyers put a lot of pressure on the first house, and I totally understand why. Buying a home is a big deal. It's expensive, it's emotional, and it feels permanent. But your first home does not have to solve the next 20 years of your life. It needs to be a good decision for this season of your life. That might mean choosing condition over size. It might mean choosing location over square footage. It might mean buying something smaller than you imagined. It might mean buying a home that works for 5 to 7 years, not forever. And that can actually make the process a whole lot easier. Because when you try to buy your dream home with a starter home budget, everything starts to feel disappointing. Every house has something wrong with it. Too small, too old, too expensive, too far, too much work, too competitive. But when you know the job of the house, the search becomes clear. Is this helping you build stability? Does it give you more control than renting? Does it fit your life right now? Can you own it comfortably? Does it give you a reasonable path forward? That's a healthier way to think about your first home. Not perfect, not forever, just a good, solid decision. And honestly, that takes a lot of pressure off of you. I know this video is called 7 Things, but this one matters too much to leave out. The right agent should not make you feel rushed. They should help you slow down in the right places. Not slow down so much that you miss real opportunities, but slow down enough to understand what you're doing. Because buying a house is emotional. You're picturing your furniture, your routines, your future, your life in that home, and that's normal. But emotional decisions still need structure. A good agent should help you compare homes beyond the photos. They should help you understand pricing, condition, inspections, disclosures, offer strategy, and trade-offs. They should tell you when something deserves a closer look. And they should be honest when a house may not be the right fit. And they should help you feel more clear, not more pressured. That's the whole point. Clarity, not pressure. Because the best outcome is not just getting the house. The best outcome is getting a house you understand. So, if you're thinking about buying your first home or relocating in Minneapolis, St. Paul, or anywhere around the Twin Cities, here's what I'd want you to remember. Don't just shop price. Understand the monthly reality. Don't be scared of older homes. Learn how to evaluate them. Don't treat the inspection like a pass or fail test. Use it to understand the house. Don't forget that winter changes ownership. Think seasonally. We can't always get the answers, but we can do our best. Don't ask which neighborhood is best. Ask which trade-offs fit your life. Don't assume that the cheapest house is always the safest choice. Look at the cost to own. And don't put so much pressure on your first home that you make the process impossible. The more you understand before you buy, the better decisions you'll make. And that's exactly why I make these videos. If you're still early in the process, the next video I'd recommend is my complete step-by-step guide to buying a home in Minneapolis and St. Paul. That one will walk you through the process from getting pre-approved all the way to closing. so you know what to expect before you're in the middle of it. And if you're planning to buy somewhere in the Twin Cities and you want someone to help you think through your options without pressure, you'll find my contact information below in the description. And I'll see you in the next video.